Coming up on NCC News at 4:40, Syracuse students had a little less privacy today.
People around the country continue to worry about gun control.
And some new information could help officials discover what happened with Payne Stewart's plane crash. Stay tuned, the news is next.
Jeff Farley and Nicole Callion. Mike Principata with sports. And Tim Conroy with the most accurate weather in town. NCC News starts now.
I'm Jeff Farley.
And I'm Nicole Callion. Our top story today. Students in Syracuse have a little more than reading, writing, and arithmetic to worry about. The school board decided to crack down
favoring and is in favor of.
One man was killed and two were injured in a head-on collision last night. State police say the accident happened along Fuller Road in Cayuga County in the town of Conquest. 16-year-old Carl Green and 17-year-old Richard McAllister of Port Byron remain in critical condition at University Hospital today. The driver, 32-year-old Andrew Perrine of Wolcott, was killed. No tickets were issued. Police say the weather may have been the cause of the accident, but they are still investigating.
Seattle is shrouded in fear today as police continue the search for a camouflaged gun and then released. Authorities say they have no motive for the attack.
Attorney General Janet Reno has joined President Clinton and Vice President Gore in urging Congress to pass new gun restrictions in the wake of two office shootings in as many days. Reno is calling for legislation that, quote, keeps guns out of the hands of those who shouldn't have them. Now, meanwhile, Gore has promised to make gun control a prime issue in his campaign for the 2000 presidency. A new snowplow could make life easier for Central New York drivers. The Canadian-made industrial snowplows are heavier than those manufactured here in the United States. Makers say the plows are designed to handle a heavier load. The city of Utica will be among the first in the state to use the new snowplows, with each costing about $40,000. And stay tuned, because coming up in weather, we'll have more news on the snow that might be headed our way.
The pilot whose plane crash landed in Broome County earlier this week will most likely return to work next week. Face and shoulders. He is now recovering at home.
An update now on the crash of Egypt Air Flight 990, where new details have surfaced regarding the descent of the plane. Radar data shows the plane dropped from 33,000 feet to 17,000 and then ascended to 24,000 feet before entering rapid descent. The National Transportation Safety Board believes the plane broke up at 10,000 feet. Now, in the wake of the crash, the Federal Aviation Administration is calling for expanded requirements on voice recorders. Currently, planes built before 1991 must monitor 18 flight functions. Those planes built after the year 2002 must have voice recorders that monitor 88 functions.
That I felt that the Federal Aviation Administration has not been aggressive enough in the requirements of having the state-of-the-art recorders.
We would also like to see a backup power supply for data recorders.
Investigators can now listen to the final moments of the flight that carried golfer Payne Stewart and 5 others. National Transportation Safety Board officials now say that they were as to why the plane went down. Coming up later, Mike Principato tells us about the amazing dominance of the Chittenango sports program this fall.
But first, we'll find out if the snow in western New York is making its way here. Stay tuned.
7 points to 3,042.
Time may have gone by, but the feelings haven't changed. Students gathered in Iran today to mark the 20th anniversary of the takeover of the U.S. Embassy. They burned American flags and effigies of Uncle Sam while shouting "Death to America." The students also criticized those who wanted dialogue with the U.S. The takeover of the embassy led to the capture of 52 hostages who spent 444 days in captivity. The man convicted of killing a gay college student was sentenced today to 2 consecutive life sentences. Aaron McKinney got the sentence as part of a deal that spared him of the death penalty. That deal was finalized just before jurors began the sentencing phase of the trial. McKinney was convicted of first-degree murder yesterday in last year's beating death of Matthew Shepard. During the sentencing, McKinney said he regretted his role in the crime and apologized to the Shepard family. Another man, Russell Henderson, is already serving a life sentence for the murder.
Filmmaker Ken Burns is being honored today by a central New York town for bringing key figures city. Governor Pataki will be among those joining Ken Burns for the film opening.
Richard Gere is the sexiest man alive, at least according to People magazine. Gere receives the annual award and will grace the magazine's latest cover. He succeeds Harrison Ford, who won the award last year. Now, as you may know, Gere is a native of Central New York. Well, People's Awards aren't just limited to entertainers. They also have a sexiest politician, and it's Miami-Dade Mayor Alex Pinellas. Now, it's not the first time the magazine has recognized Pinellas' sex appeal. He was also listed amongst People's 25 sexiest Latinos earlier this year. No local politicians were included.
Among those joining Ken Burns for the film opening.
Richard Gere is the sexiest man alive, at least according to People magazine. Gere receives the annual award and will grace the magazine's latest cover. He succeeds Harrison Ford, who won the award last year. Now, as you may know, Gere is a native of Central New York. Well, People's Awards aren't just limited to entertainers. They also have a sexiest politician, and it's Miami-Dade Mayor Alex Pinellas. Now, it's not the first time the magazine has recognized Pinellas' sex appeal. He was also listed amongst People's 25 sexiest Latinos earlier this year. No local politicians were included on that list.
The holidays are fast approaching, and that means guests at the house, lots of food.
You know, every Thursday we'll be doing this.
Great.
So good job, Nicole.
See you next week.
All right.
Thanks, Tim. After the break, the young NBA season saw an old rivalry renewed last night.
And in Chittenango, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. Stay tuned. Sport.
Well-built. See your local Pontiac dealer today.
Mike Principato joins us now with sports. And Mike, the Orangemen are preparing for their home finale this Saturday.
That's right, Jeff. Seniors playing their last game in the Dome. A very emotional this weekend. Keith Bullock, Nate Trout, Quinn Spotwood among the seniors playing their last game. So Temple's opponent. Let's get championship. The first time in the last 15 years that they haven't won their division title.
Now, they obviously have some great high school players. Do any of these guys go on to play in college?
Well, actually, 3 players from the 1994 Chittenango boys soccer team that won the state championship came to play at SU. Jeff Knittel, the highlight of that group, he was the best player in the past 4 years at Syracuse, won the Big East Rookie of the Year award in '95.
Seems like they have a fine tradition.
Great
Thanks,
program
Mike.
there at Chittenango.
Coming up on NCC News, we'll show you who's the new kid on the block at San Diego Zoo. More than 8 pounds. She's now 22 inches long and starting to get teeth. And for NCC News at 4:40, I'm Nicole Callion for Jeff Farley, Mike Principato, and Tim Conroy. Thanks for joining us.
Take care.
3.